I I started again.
Welcome back to the MK podcast. It's me, Kevin Prats. Today I'm joined by my good friend, Max Rosales.
Yo, what's up? What's good? Pleasure to be here. I know we have no cameras to show him off, but today Kevin and I are being graced with the marvelous presence of our good friend and guest, Michael Baltodano.
Hi guys, it's a pleasure and thank you for having me here.
Well, now that we have introductions out of the way, let's just get right into the topic that I've had on mind for a bit. Have y'all heard of that? Have y'all read, that one news article about how the Arctic summer sea ice could be completely gone as soon as 2035?
Yeah, I saw the article. It seemed crazy. 2035 is soon to come.
Yeah, I know. I also read that it affects all the wildlife and that I used to live in the Arctic because that makes no sense.
Yo,
Um,
Is our guest all right? You want to repeat
yo,
yourself? Need some help?
nah, bust off the shrooms, bro. That's crazy.
You gotta repeat yourself. No?
Yo, or shroom, like, yo,
Uh,
man
you know,
straight
like,
died.
yeah, a little bit of stroke there, but
I'm doing a podcast, so
I think we should restart it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, I have to read
just
it.
start that line.
I know. I also read on how it affects all the wildlife and gotcha.
Fix your paragraph.
Mm,
There you
mm.
go. I fixed it.
All right, do we start recording? Just go.
Just go. I'll edit this part out.
Welcome back to the MK podcast. It's me, Kevin Prats. Today I'm joined by my good friend, Max Rosales.
Yo, what's up? What's good? Pleasure to be here. Look, I know we have no cameras to show him off, but today Kevin and I are graced with the marvelous and amazing presence of Mr. Michael Baltodano.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me join, and it's a pleasure being here.
All right, look, now that we have all the quick little introductions out of the way, how about we just hop into a topic that I've had on mind for a bit. Have y'all read that one news article talking about how the Arctic summer sea ice could be completely gone by as soon as 2035?
Yeah, I saw the article and it seemed crazy. 2035 is soon to come.
Yeah, I know. I also read on like all the wildlife that are affected there because all the ice that disappeared and there's literally like not enough ice for it to walk to other places like they used to migrate to.
Have you also heard about the rising sea levels that are being caused by global warming? This is bad for us in Florida because I believe it's by 2025 the Keys will be completely submerged in water.
No, seriously though, like you said, things are seriously starting to look bad for any locations like right here in Miami or somewhere foreign, any place that's located anywhere near sea level. But thank God we have people who are able to like speak out against these like horrible natural occurrences. Like public speakers are just seriously amazing people who are able to put in this much work to go against, you know, the natural way of life.
Yeah, I'm like also super sad because like the Keys were the my favorite vacation spot for my family, and that it might be underwater for like the next few years. And my favorite restaurant, Big Daddy Sausage Place, bro, is gonna close down. And it's a real disappointment.
That's a very funny name for a
No,
restaurant.
what? Big Daddy's what? Yo, what?
I might have to try Big Daddy sausage before it might disappear. I hate climate change.
No, what? Shit, nah. Yeah, anyway, yeah, climate change. Uh, on that topic, y'all have heard about Greta Thunberg before, right?
No, never heard of Greta Thunberg before. Who is she?
All right, so basically, Greta Thunberg is a Swedish environmental activist that basically changed the world with her straightforward opinions on climate change, and she has viewed millions of people around the world and has a very thoughtful speeches and even talked on TED.
Oh, that's interesting. You think you could talk more about her? We need more people like her in order to spread more awareness.
Yeah, for sure, easily. Well, something you may not know is that, well, how she started out. So basically, at the age of 15, Greta began her journey into activism when she demanded action on climate change outside of the Swedish parliament. She first started spending her school days outside the Swedish parliament to call for stronger action on climate change by simply holding up a sign that read, how is it? Skull strike, I think, for klimatet, which is basically school strike for climate in English. Soon, many other students near her saw this and started to engage in similar protests in their own communities. In the years following, she became a leading voice in the fight to protect the environment as countries around the world battle raging, sorry, as countries around the world battle raging wildfires, drought, deadly heat waves, and more.
Wow, that's really inspiring, actually.
Yeah, I know, and like she was like received numerous like honors and awards, including an honorary fellowship of the Royal Scottish Geographical Society, including the Times 100 most influential people, being the youngest person of the year, including in the Forbes list of the world's 100 most powerful women of 2019. And she has many nominations for Nobel.
Wow. Like, seriously, it's amazing how this one seriously young girl, probably about a little younger than us still, I think. It's amazing how she could have such an enormous impact on the world. She really did inspire many people to make positive changes. And
I
well,
know, she really did.
uh, so as you guys probably know, with this, with all of this code and blah 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 and social media and stuff, I'm sure that basically anyone who has a phone has been made aware of BLM, right?
Yeah, I've heard
Mhm.
about it a lot recently in the social media. It reminds me a lot about people were about Jews were oppressed back in the days in the Holocaust. It's really sad, depressing.
Seriously. Oh, that reminds me. There's this book I read recently. Night. It was written by what was it? I think Elie Wiesel or something along those lines. It basically goes on about, or rather, it's an autobiography by Elie describing his time and just the story of what happened inside of those concentration camps, how traumatic it was for him, and the experiences he had. It was seriously such a traumatic book.
Yeah, it's really sad. I think I've heard about the book before. Yeah, got anything to say, Michael? You've read
Well, I actually also read about it. I went to a library and I was looking at a couple books, and this book caught my sight. And so I did read a little glimpse of it. And it was pretty interesting and it's kind of depressing at the same time that all these people went through these horrible things.
Yeah, it's really sad. He'd never deserve that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Uh, Throwing it back to what we were talking about before, BLM. You know, in this modern society, we see a lot of shitty things happening. Obviously, no society or world will be perfect, and that's obviously impossible. But relating that to the book, uh, how the book went over the Holocaust. We could easily relate it to how the Nazis used to oppress Jewish people or anyone who didn't meet their expectations and such.
Yeah. Racism is a really bad thing nowadays. It really needs to stop. I mean, we're all people, even though we're in different bodies, different shapes, different colors. But at the end of the day, we're all people.
Exactly. And talking about the Holocaust again. Uh, I think something that's not really appreciated enough about the book. I feel like it's always looked at for the horror that these concentration camps and that Nazis incited inside of people. But I don't think people often realize how powerful or how courageous Ellie had to be to write it. Because you see, even in this more peaceful society that we now live in this more peaceful world, there will still always be haters. Like I mentioned before, it's not perfect. So Ellie could have received a lot of hate, a lot of crude comments about this book.
Yeah, that's completely correct. I mean, back in the days, people weren't as nice, especially writing about that traumatic experience that she went to. It's sad. She could probably, like, get, fuck.
Are you good? Michael, I want you to like say like um Oh, come up with like
I don't, like, I
I
think
like
look, I think we could like okay relate back to BLM, and we can talk about Martin Luther King just like we did about the Greta.
right. Hold up.
I mean,
Right before we go into that, bring up the phrase. What was it? How words can inspire change, right? So like, say something like, what was it? What was the last thing that Kevin said?
Just cut that part out that what I said because I screwed up.
What was the
It's
last thing I said?
honestly, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're talking about how
Oh,
basically,
courageous.
yeah, she was really courageous for that. We could talk about Martin Luther King's speeches and how it inspired change.
Right. All right, bet. So we'll talk about how Martin Luther King was also courageous, how Martin Luther King Jr. Day was literally just yesterday. And then one of us could bring up the theme, words inspiring change. And then yeah.
Michael, do you want to talk or do I talk?
yes, no,
Uh
I'll talk.
bet.
Wait, you want to talk?
Right,
Oh wait, say
I'll
something
talk.
like, you know who else is really courageous?
Yeah,
Martin
yeah,
Luther
that's
King.
what I was gonna say.
Bet.
Bring up the like say like yesterday was Martin Luther King Day and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say all that.
All right.
So okay, ready?
Yep.
Yep.
But do you know who else is really courageous? Like, kind of reminded me of Martin Luther King, since we're talking about BLM and how his people were also oppressed just like the Jews, and it kind of
Right.
reminded like also like it was Martin Luther King Day literally yesterday,
Right.
and that I mean the amount of bravery that he did to speak out on his issues about all the oppression that his race was getting, and basically all the bad things that are happening around him, and he still went outside and did all the protests. Went to jail for a long time, and basically had to go through so much, but he eventually um, completely canceled segregation, and that has really helped our society today a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, he's really
serious.
courageous for that, especially
Yeah,
since back in
serious.
the day, black people were oppressed a lot. So the fact that he went out in public and spoke in front of many people, white, black, it's really inspiring, and it worked.
Oh,
Segregation stopped.
no, yeah, seriously. I mean, although we can't obviously say completely stop with everything that's going on
Yeah,
today,
had
he
the peace.
seriously made humanity take a humongous leap forward. He propelled us really a lot further into the future, had us all realize that we were just humans. We weren't meant to be separated by something as simple as our skin color, which is like you guys said, seriously courageous because he lived in a seriously overly racist society. Simply walking outside, he could be beat just for being a darker skin tone than most of those around him. So yeah, I guess you could connect this to a phrase, which would be how words inspire change. Obviously, when I say words, I mention uh, Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. I'm sure everyone has heard it. I have a dream that I think it was something along the lines of him wanting his kids to be able to do whatever they want. I believe. Can one of you confirm this for me?
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
Uh,
Uh,
Yeah, and I just also wanted to say like how this man really changed on what our like present day is like. Without him, I mean, black people wouldn't be what they are today. They all these communities, they are there's a lot of people, especially black people, succeeding in colleges, and there's a lot of light skins doing a lot of TikToks. Completely changed the world. I don't know how it is today, and
seriously, bro.
yeah, completely like on my For You page, getting those TikToks, those thirst traps,
That's
completely
crazy.
changed the world,
That's
and
that's wild, bro. Like
it
for
really
real,
did.
bro. Like we
And
got Kelly
Barack
Oubre because
Obama
of
too.
that. That's crazy.
I
Y'all
know.
know who Kelly Oubre is? And it's
no.
hot. Pause.
What?
No, what?
Do not know him.
No. Wait, yo, he plays on
Wait,
the
is that a
Charlotte
guy or
Hornets.
or a girl?
That's a guy. God
Oh
damn.
shit.
My fault. Anyways, back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
the way that
L-
words inspire change. Obviously it's seen I feel like it's seen a lot more commonly nowadays. I'm sure you guys remember Abraham Lincoln's seven score speech. You know, everyone has been taught it throughout elementary, middle school, high school, whatever. It's been heard thousands upon millions of times. We can see the same thing in modern day, in which we mentioned before, Greta Thunberg. Um, uh, from here, Kevin, like Kevin or Michael, continue with like, oh yeah, seriously, she made a lot of speeches. She stood out to
Yo, bro, I have a
congressmen and
good idea.
something.
I have a good idea. So, um,
Wait.
basically, I know that it's like a lot. If we could interpret one of these topics into personal, um, like experience that we had, like I swore, if there's like a story I could like that I had in the past that's kind of similar to what we're talking about, I could talk for hours without stopping. Like, and it's also easier for everyone. Like, if you like tell stories that happened back when you're like a kid, you could like, I could like talk for ages, you
Wait,
know?
we're talking about Abraham Lincoln right now, right? Because my dad just walked in. All right.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
All right. Wait. So what are you gonna continue with right now? What are you gonna talk after about?
I
Uh,
think Max was talking.
I was talking
So we
about
gotta link it back to the Holocaust and all.
oh yeah, Greta Thunberg. How do we relate that back
But
to
yeah,
the?
just like talk about but like trust me, like it's so much easier when you're talking about like a story that you know, like how you tell people stories.
Uh,
Yeah, and how you
It's like so
keep.
much easier to talk and you talk for. It's a podcast, like he won't care
so we're gonna
either.
go back to Greta Thunberg.
No, no, no. Hold
Yeah,
on.
like
I
well,
mean, let's talk about her for like a good few seconds.
yeah,
And
yeah.
let's go back to the Holocaust and how
All
stories are easy to
right.
tell.
Well, that things I can't really relate to the Holocaust.
Uh,
Yeah, I could talk about climate change easily. I know what
Exactly. I mean,
Holocaust
no,
is.
like just say like something that you saw like in your past or something, or like a cool story about it. You know, like
I mean,
do you guys have any stories?
we could
not
talk
that I
about
can think
how
of.
like a couple of days ago, like the weather was pretty shit because of climate change. There's like a bunch of tornadoes and stuff, tsunamis.
True.
Exactly. And you just says like, bro, in Guy Ocho, bro, I just saw like this like a snowman, bro, like wearing with like a cigar, bro. Like you
I
just
think
said talk about anything, bro.
there's like some massive tornadoes in Florida. Someone told me.
Yeah. Oh, let me talk about that, bro. Yeah. Okay. So put like bring it back about the tornado, and I have a story about that a tornado. All right.
Yeah, I'll bring it back.
All right. So
You want?
um,
You guys
yeah,
want to start?
Go
go
from
ahead, right?
Greta to tornadoes somehow.
All right. All right. Anyways, guys, have you guys seen the humongous tornadoes that have been going around in Southwest Florida? Like literally yesterday. I mean, it destroyed like about 60 homes, I believe. I read. You guys got any opinions about it?
I don't know, that's a lot of bones. But like, I remember there's this like one time when like I think I don't know, it was like one of those hurricanes in the past year. Um, like when I was like around like maybe 11, I was in Orlando, and I was just like with the family and I like, and we were in this and renting this house, and the it was complete like the hurricane was completely fine. We couldn't even feel it. Like we had electricity. It was completely fine. Like we were about to go to like a freaking water park until we saw it was closed. But and then until there's maybe a couple hours in, there's a tornado warning on our phones, and there's a tornado about like not that far. It was maybe like 4 to 5 miles away from where our house that we were renting, and basically, and the complete like the weather completely changed. It flipped on us, and there's the windows were shaking, and like the entire house was shaking. And but I did find a frog though. I found a frog outside and took him in because he was about to die. Like I swear to God, there's like as soon as I picked him up, there's this massive like tree trunk thing that hit him exactly where he was standing before I picked him up. So I kind of saved his life, my cat. But
You're,
um,
you're a true
Yeah,
hero.
that's
I,
crazy. Rest in peace,
yeah.
Bozo.
Yeah, I've never been anywhere close to tornado, but I've been in multiple hurricanes. Hurricanes aren't too bad. I've never been like a very serious situation. How about you, Mask?
Here in South Florida, we had a couple over the years. Some that have been coming close enough to have to cancel school and stuff like that. But I myself have never actually experienced one that was too hard. At most, I had my electricity go out for a bit, but I don't think I ever experienced the same thing that people that live in places like Naples have, where I'm sure you guys have seen over the years, they've just been absolutely getting raw dogged by all these natural disasters and stuff.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah,
Many
but
people's
you
dying.
know that reminds me that I have this like crazy story that like back in Nicaragua, dude, there was this massive earthquake that happened, and basically, it's gonna be a long story. It's like my grandma's cousin's daughter.
Oh, okay.
It was like her house, bro. Like her house was like on a hill kind of, and like a huge chunk of the hill just fell because of the earthquake, and half her house was gone. And
What?
she was telling me that she was on the couch watching telenovela, right?
Yeah.
Like the
When
usual. And then like half you just see like half of her house got cut in half.
that's my
And she
fault
was
for
like
real.
so yeah,
I
bro,
should
like she
I
was
should
so
be
close to
laughing,
dying.
but what the fuck? You got some
I
crazy
know.
Nah,
stories, Michael.
that was crazy,
But
bro.
her, but her, but her motorcycle fell, so it was a
Because
pretty nice motorcycle. So
man, I can
rip the
just imagine
motorcycle.
sitting watching TV and half of my house is splits in half. That's insane.
Yeah, but don't forget about the telenovela though. She was watching, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Nah,
she's really lucky.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
climate
lucky that I
change.
didn't cut out the telenovela, bro.
Climate
Imagine.
change has caused a lot of issues nowadays. Uh,
But right, Greta Thunberg. It's amazing how she's able to speak out. I'm sure we've already mentioned this a thousand times on this podcast alone. But I'm seriously interested in Night by Elie Weasel, like I said before. And how about we just transition back into that?
yeah, Martin Luther King, Elie Wiesel, and Greta Thunberg are three truly inspiring people that has changed the world and impacted them in very positive ways. They're very courageous for what they're doing, and we need more people like them to stand up for the issues.
How much time do y'all think we have?
I think we finished. Dude,
Yes.
I think we did it.
Yeah, bro, and also like Greta Burger, she's kind of bad, cap.
Nah,
Whoa,
hold up,
man.
pause. Pause.
What the fuck? Okay, I think
There's been no someone telling you
I
that.
think we did over 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
if not 10 minutes, we
that was
definitely
like
did enough. Okay, start the recording and check.
I bet.